Hello. Thank you for all the previous presenters, speakers. Very interesting. Are you tired? No? I'm a little bit short for oxygen. Also, a lot of content. Very interesting. My name is Martin Lexelius. I'm a front-end developer at Authority in Stockholm. Today's presentation from me is called Back to Basics with the team label. What is that? You will see. And the talk of today, I'm going to go full nerd and talk about one of my favorite things, form-related controls. We're going to talk about text inputs only. This is one of the most powerful things we have in HTML. Can also be a little complicated sometimes. There's a lot of attributes and types and a whole lot of things. But this is the text input in its most simple and pure form. It's a text box where you are supposed to fill in your first name. And that's why we have a label saying first name. And maybe you are developers, maybe you're not. But this is how you might code such a thing. You have a label element. You have an input element. And you might notice there is an attribute called for. And you have an ID. And if they have matching values, they are tied together programmatically, which is a good thing. If you don't feel like using the label, you can use a P or a div or a span or an H3. No, of course not. You cannot use a P or a div or a span or H3. Of course not. And yeah, that was a little faster than I maybe some question. No, okay, I'm joking. Some of you might be thinking, "Hey, Martin, why you're even talking about this? This is very basic things, very basic. This is the kind of thing that you're learning, coding school or UX school, right? Right?" I mean, come on, why are we even here? Why am I talking about this? So, this is why we're here. Because something happened. This was an animation where the label was all of a sudden moved from top of the input to be inside of the input. Why to do that? I don't know. Maybe it looks nicer. Maybe to save some space. I see this everywhere. And this is my rant of today. So, and this is how you might code that. You simply remove the label element. We don't need that. You put the placeholder attribute, and we're done. And now, you have created at least 5 problems for yourself, or for the users. Number 1, the accessible name. The browsers actually try their best to present all the time an accessible name to all people, especially if you're using assistive technologies like screen readers and such. And now, a label always works, we know that. But there's a whole series of fallbacks. The browser is trying its best to present something. And the placeholder is one of them. Sometimes or often, but not always. There is no guarantee that it always works with all versions of all browsers in combination with all versions of all assistive technologies. So don't do that. Use a label. It always works. Number 2, color contrast. The browser, if you don't change anything, the default color of the browser is usually okay. But I see this all the time, that some has this brilliant idea, make it very, very light. And I want to remind you that in WCAG, I think 143 or something, I'm not an expert in that, but it clearly states that the minimum color contrast criterion, is for all the text on the page, including the placeholder text. So it's a violation. So light gray text is bad, but also dark gray text is also bad, because if it's too dark, you might think it's already filled in for me. Number 3, the cognitive concerns. This is a fancy way of saying it's difficult to remember. So the nature, one of the properties of the placeholder is that it's visible until you focus. When you start typing, it disappears. So in this example, you're supposed to fill in your date of birth, where the placeholder text is MMDD, which is a horrible screen reader experience, by the way. So you start writing, you start typing away, and halfway through you realize, hey, wait a minute. Was I supposed to put my 4 last digits? Was I supposed to put a dash or not? Oh, wait, was it a year with a full year or half 2-digit year? I don't. Then you have to remove what you typed to have this appear again, so you can try to remember again. Yeah? Number 4 is related to number 3. You try your best to fill it in, and you submit the form, and something is, you failed, yeah? And the error can be very generic, like, you did bad, wrong, it's invalid. Then what you have to do is go back, remove everything, and try again, which is extremely annoying, right? This is when you put important instructions inside of the text inputs. Number 5, text is cut off. So, let's say you're trying to create an account somewhere, you're signing up for something, some product, and you're supposed to come up with some kind of password for your account, and the instructions inside, and it might say your password must contain 8 lowercase characters, 1 uppercase character, 1 digit, 1 special character, 1 dead goat, 1 drop from a virgin, I don't know. But if it's a very long text, it might fit on a desktop, probably. But on a mobile, forget about it. And the nature of the placeholder, it never wraps on down to a new row. It just cut off. And you cannot select it. You cannot go in there and copy paste or anything. It's just gone. So now this interesting thing happens, that you cannot create an account because you don't know the rules for the password. So let's say the product owner of this product goes to the analyst and say, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Analyst, can you give me statistics how we're doing on desktop versus mobile? And we say, yeah, the statistics clearly show they are signing up on the desktop. Oh, then we have the users mainly using desktop. Let's focus all our efforts on desktop. Right? The statistics show that we have not users on mobile. This is why you cannot trust statistics sometimes. Okay, these are 5 examples. I can think of some more, but let's not do that. So I just have a feeling that there is a fundamental misunderstanding about this thing. What is a label? What is a placeholder? The label is the what, and also the how. The placeholder is nothing but a short little example, a short little hint or tip that you can easily disregard, throw away. Yeah? The label cannot replace the placeholder. Simply cannot. So, okay. Is this a common thing? Is there a lot of errors like this on the web? Somebody should look into that. I have looked into that. So here's a picture of some popcorn, because we're going to watch a movie, No, it's not a movie. It's a lot of slides, just. And this is going to be very, very fast, so I don't have the possibility to make audio description, but I can tell you this much, that you're going to see a whole bunch of examples of these problems, these issues. No label. There is a label, but it's hidden. There is a label, but it's empty. There is something looking like a label, but it's not. Bad color contrast, etc., etc. And these are all examples from not like the local pizzeria place in Rågsved or Falkenberg. No, these are among the top 100 companies in Sweden. You will all recognize them. And I can also say that these examples are from important flows on the website. Creating accounts, buying something, etc. Something that they probably want you to do. So, we're going to have some music. Give me a second, and try to, let's go, yeah? Well, okay. If you're old like me, you will recognize that this is Benny Hill. That was music from the Benny Hill show in the 80s. So, making the web more accessible. If you're working with city websites or government or public sector, you do this maybe on the daily. Maybe you're new in the community, just starting out. You know what it's all about, but we have a law now, and somebody mentioned that in a couple of years' time, we will have a new or expanded law that will cover more, or e-commerce and banking and transportation, completely new areas on the web. And I would like to quote then Ida. Where is Ida? Okay, a hand for the organizers. Yes, yes. So I would like to quote Ida that said to me, I'm so much looking forward to this new law, because then we can start pointing these things out with more power, yeah? And I'm at the end of my presentation, wrapping up. I just want to ask yourself, are you team label or team placeholder? Because if you didn't already have this discussion today, you might tomorrow or the next week, I guarantee it. This is reoccurring all the time. At least in my small universe, I'm having these discussions all the time. So this was fun. That's it for me. Thank you. I'm Martin. Thank you. Bye.